South Africa's building confidence has dropped to its lowest level since 2020. According to the FNB BR index, which measures activity in this sector, the current business conditions are to blame for the 70% of respondents expressing dissatisfaction. Economist at FNB Siphamandla Mkhwanazi joins us to unpack this. Thank you so much for your time, Siphamandla. Let's first start with the highlights of what this index is telling us.
Right. So yes, the sentiment in the sector did drop to the levels that we last saw at the height of the COVID pandemic in 2020. The dissatisfaction in the market at the moment suggests that round about 3 out of 10 market participants are dissatisfied with the prevailing business conditions. We saw, in the last 6 quarters or so, that sentiment in fact bottomed sometime around mid-2022 or so at very, very low levels, I must say, but it did stabilize following about 26 quarters of negative sentiment in the quarter. So we are still satisfied that we are still convinced that although sentiment is very, very low at the moment, activity is very difficult to come by, but the sector does look like it has stabilized. What was the highlight for us this time around was that that stabilization I'm talking about was largely driven by the activity or the exuberance that was taking place in the Western Cape. It does appear from the results of the second quarter that that has sort of eased a little bit, and as a result of that, we are seeing confidence now not moving in the right direction.
So maybe a two-sided coin of the current economic climate as well as a near-term forecast, Siphamandla. What's to be said really about the market having expected that this reading would come in the manner that it has, given that load shedding is impacting on all industries?
Sure. So what we see from the impact of load shedding is that obviously it will impact different players at different levels of the value chain. We see sentiment of manufacturers, for instance, is the lowest in the market. It's sitting at around 18, which is the lowest. It did improve slightly in the second quarter from 6 to 18, but that really is nothing to write home about. It might just indicate that some of the market participants are learning to live with the levels of load shedding that we are currently seeing. So that is the subsector that is really severely hit by the impact of load shedding. But elsewhere, we see sentiment, for instance, of quantity surveyors and architects that are less affected by load shedding and sitting at around the mid-20s or so. So again, nothing to be excited about, but we do see that that disproportionate impact that load shedding is having. What we are starting also to see is the market participants are also discounting what they expect to be a very severe winter months ahead in terms of load shedding, and that is when you look at activity itself amongst the subsectors, yes, it did decline, but not that much. What did actually decline was the expectations, the short-term expectations, and we do think that market participants factored in what they expect to be a bad winter insofar as load shedding is concerned.
Now, Siphamandla, we know that a lull in the infrastructure build in South Africa, it was quite a huge project. It was anticipated to yield jobs as well as large-scale construction in the country. We have not seen it at such a robust level of what it was expected to be at its inception. How much of a contributing factor is that with regards to the activity that we are seeing and impacting on sentiment?
Right. No, Tumisang, that really has weighed on sentiment, not just in this quarter, but over the past 6 years or so. We have been talking about, large infrastructure rollout since about 2016, really, and it hasn't really come to the extent that market participants expected it. So that has had an impact of severely impacting sentiment over a long period of time, to an extent that we have lost a number of players in the sentiment. We have seen, a bit of consolidation taking place in the market, and one of the most prominent reasons given by market participants was that a severe lack of activity or large-scale projects in the market. What has supported sentiment of late is this green energy drive that has been taking place. So another impact of load shedding. So you see, with the sentiment of subcontractors, their sentiment is actually much better than anyone else in the market, and it is driven by those small-scale projects that are related to investment into alternative sources of energy. Now, the thing with that is that it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be with us forever. So we have seen a strong wave of those projects taking place, and judging by the results of this quarter, it does suggest that probably we're not going to see much of it for the remainder of the year.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We'll leave it there with FNB economist Siphamandla Mkhwanazi talking to us on the business desk this morning about the activity in the building sector and the sentiment that has dwindled as a result of the current economic climate.